Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into Ezekiel, the 15th chapter. And this is a fairly short chapter, basically dealing with the Lord making a comparison between Jerusalem and the vine, okay, the useless vine. I'll put it at that. And in the 14th chapter, we pretty much dealt with the idolatry and the wickedness of not only the Israelites in Jerusalem, but also the ones in the captives, right, that were in Babylon, because you had, of course, false prophets among them, but you also had even of the so-called elders that were secretly worshiping idols, okay, and yet will come to inquire of certain things of the Lord by Ezekiel, okay. And so the Lord was basically telling them that he's gonna make an example out of them, and pretty much if you come to inquire of the Lord and you out here worshiping idols, it's not gonna end well for you. All right. So this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 15, verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is the vine, or what is the vine tree, more than any tree, or than a branch which is among the trees of the forest? So in this sense, the Lord is basically making a comparison here between a vine tree, and maybe like a cedar tree or any other tree in the forest. Verse 3, shall wood be taken thereof to do any work? Or will men take a pin of it to hang any vessel thereon? Meaning, when you deal with a vine tree, and I'm going to pull up an image here, but a vine tree is not like the regular other trees, right? This is what a vine tree looks like. And you can see, right here, the nature of this tree is not cut out for things like building. Okay, so what the Lord is saying here is, can you take the wood of a vine tree and use it for any building, use it for any work? Which is a rhetorical question, because the answer is no. And likewise, right? Or will men take a pin of it to hang any vessel thereon? Meaning, take the wood and turn it into like a peg where you can hang things on. You wouldn't be able to do that, because the vine tree is not cut out for that. When have you ever heard in the scriptures where they're talking about building and then they talk about using the wood of the vine tree? They don't do that. They'll mention cedars and so on and so forth. Okay, but the vine tree is not good for that. Verse 4, behold, it is cast into the fire for fuel. The fire devoureth both the ends of it, and in the midst of it is burned. And the midst of it is burned. Is it meat for any work? Behold, when it was whole, it was meat for no work. How much less shall it be meat yet for any work, when the fire hath devoured it, and it is burned? So pretty much, if the vine tree wasn't, I mean, obviously you get the resources off of the tree itself, the fruit and so on and so forth. But in terms of the actual wood, if it wasn't good for building or good for anything while it was still whole, how much less would it be when you burn it? And the Lord is driving at a point here. Verse 6, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, as the vine tree among the trees of the forest, which I have given to the fire for fuel, so will I give the inhabitants of Jerusalem. So that's the comparison there. And the Lord is basically comparing Jerusalem to this vine tree in terms of building, because here he's saying you're pretty much good for nothing at this point. Okay, I delivered you, I brought you out of Egypt, I gave you this good land, I did all these things for you, and the contract was that you would be my people, right? And you would serve me, and you would do the things that are pleasing unto me. But right now, you're doing whatever it is you want to do. You're committing spiritual adultery by worshiping these other gods. And you're doing all sorts of wickedness, murder, and all of these things in the land. what's your purpose? What good are you? What good can I use you for? You're likened onto this vine tree that doesn't serve any purpose. How much less when it gets burned? So the Lord is saying the same way, after you take the fruits off the vine tree, the next thing that is good for is fire. The Lord is basically saying, ain't nothing good coming out of you, inhabitants of Jerusalem. So at this point, you're only good to be given to the fire. That's the comparison here. Verse 7, and I will set my face against them. They shall go out from one fire, and another fire shall devour them. Which is, in other words, to say there shall be no escape. There's going to be destruction upon them on all sides. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh when I set my face against them. Meaning now, instead of the Lord looking over Jerusalem or looking over Israel to do good, to give you that former and latter rain, to make the land fruitful, to protect you, to deliver you. Instead of that, he's going to set his face against you. So now, when you look at boxing or UFC, for example, when they get to those, they come and do the weigh-ins, and then they basically come up, face to face, head to head, meaning they're going against each other. So in this case, the Lord is saying now he's going to start to treat you like an enemy. He's going to be an adversary to you. And I will make the land desolate because they have committed a trespass, saith the Lord Yahweh. And in this case, at least in this time, it wasn't going to be completely desolate, but desolate in the sense that he was going to destroy it and break it down and pretty much remove the bulk of Israel from the land and send them over to the lands of their captivities. Okay, so Ezekiel the 15th chapter, like I said, is fairly short. The next chapter, the 16th chapter, is quite long. Okay, but the Lord, he basically expresses a lot to Ezekiel in that chapter. Okay, but yeah, in the 15th chapter, this is pretty much the Lord making that comparison. And as you've noticed from the first chapter up until now, the Lord has pretty much just been telling Ezekiel about the wickedness that Israel is doing and the judgment he's going to bring. And so he's letting him know before this comes to pass, so that when it comes to pass, there's no confusion. It's very clear and cut why the destruction the Lord brought was the way it was. Anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.